After Jesus Christ died and resurrected, a strange silence appeared in the Bible.
Because from that moment on, the Bible says almost nothing more about Mary, mother of Jesus, the woman who gave birth.
Mary stood at the foot of the structure. Mary witnessed her son's profound suffering. Each breath.
Mary did not turn away. Mary did not flee. Mary did not collapse.
And then, as the greatest story in human history entered a new chapter, when the empty tomb of that woman gradually disappeared from historical accounts. There is no account of her passing. There are no clear records of her final years. There is no specific ending like other characters. Just a void. But that very void opened a door. Because history was not silent. For many centuries thereafter, the first Christians began to pass down stories. Not all were the same. Not all could be verified. But together they painted a picture that could not be ignored.
Some traditions say that Mary lived her final years in silence and prayer with the apostles. Some accounts say that Mary left the city, following her beloved companion to a distant land.
And there are also mystical stories that say, before her passing, Mary knew her time. Then a detail began to appear repeatedly in many ancient traditions: the empty tomb. A woman who was not a king, not a warrior, not a ruler, but when Mary died, her tomb became the focal point of faith, of debate, and of hope.
Some believed her body was no longer there. Others believed Mary had been taken up to heaven. And over time, this belief not only did not disappear, but spread, becoming an important part of the faith of billions of people. All of this raises an unavoidable question: what truly happened to that woman after the cross? Did the Bible remain silent because the story was over?
Or was that story too grand? So much so that it could not be contained in a few lines of text. Then perhaps we have missed the most important part of the story.
Perhaps it had only just begun. Chapter 1. At the foot of the cross, a mother's pain. Not because of the storm above, but because a mother stood through a moment of unimaginable sorrow and unwavering hope. And the one on the large wooden structure was a revered leader. Many people followed this leader when he performed extraordinary feats, when he taught,
when he healed the sick. But on Golgotha that day, as blood flowed and death drew near, many people disappeared.
The disciples were afraid. The crowds who once cheered now turned their backs. Those who once believed now hid in the shadows. But one person did not leave. Mary stood there. Mary performed no miracles. Mary could not save her son. Mary just stood there and watched. The greatest pain in a mother's life is not her own passing, but having to witness her child's final moments before her. And Mary not only saw her son die, Mary saw her son tortured, humiliated, crucified like a
And at that moment, a very old prophecy began to be fulfilled. Many years earlier,
an old man named Simeon said a phrase to Mary that Mary probably never forgot. "A sword will pierce your soul." At that time, Mary probably didn't fully understand the meaning of those words. But at the foot of the cross that day, Mary understood. That sword was not made of iron. It was pain. It was loss. It was the moment Mary saw all the promises, all the hopes, all the things the angel had told Mary years ago, seemingly dying with her son on the cross.
Remember that Mary was the only one present from beginning to end.
Mary was there when he grew up, and now Mary was there during his passing.
Always watching, always remembering everything in her heart, even when Mary didn't fully understand. Then, while suffering on the cross,
the revered figure looked down and saw his mother standing there, beside his beloved companion.
Jesus Christ said something very strange. He did not just speak to his mother. He did not just speak to John the Apostle. He created a new relationship.
"Woman, behold your son. Behold your mother." In that moment, something very profound happened. Mary did not just lose a son. Mary was given another son. And not just Joanne the Apostle alone. According to the understanding of early Christians, that moment carried a greater meaning. Mary became the mother of all who believe in Jesus Christ. A new family was formed right at the foot of the cross, not based on blood, but on faith. Try to imagine Mary's state of mind at that moment.
At that moment, Mary was experiencing profound loss. But at the same time,
Mary became the spiritual mother of a new community, a community that would later become the church. Pain and mission appeared at the same time, under the same cross. This also speaks to a great paradox in the Christian story. And the moment when it seemed all was lost, Mary received more than Mary could imagine. Mary lost one son, but became the mother of countless people.
Mary lost a small family, but became part of a much larger family, the family of believers.
and perhaps that is why Mary did not leave the cross. Mary did not run from suffering, because in some way,
Mary understood that this suffering was not meaningless, that something was being born right in the midst of this pain, that the death before her was not the end.
At the foot of the cross, people did not just see a mother mourning her son.
The role of a mother, but not just of one person, but of an entire community of faith being formed from blood, tears, and sacrifice. And it was at the most painful point in her life that Mary's life began a completely new chapter. Because after the cross, Mary was no longer just the woman of Nazareth. Mary became the mother standing at the beginning of something that would change the entire world. Chapter 2, Mary and the Early Church. After that day on Golgotha, when the crowds had dispersed, when the cross had been taken down,
after a time of sorrow and uncertainty, her life entered a quiet chapter that history rarely described.
But which holds great significance for Christian history. According to the Gospel of John, before dying, and from that moment, John the Apostle took Mary into his home. This detail sounds simple, because that means Mary left Nazareth, left her old life, and began to live among the community of disciples, those who were confused, afraid, and didn't know what the future held after their teacher's death. Imagine that house. It was not a palace. It was not an absolutely safe place. It was where the companions gathered in fear, locking the doors for fear of being apprehended like the revered leader.
And in that house was Mary, the mother who had witnessed everything from beginning to end.
She was the only one among them who had carried the message from the beginning. She was the only one who believed that loss was not the end, because Mary had been foretold that her son had a mission greater than death. Then the third day came, the empty tomb.
Rumors began to spread. The Lord had risen. The disciples were confused, half believing, half afraid.
The Bible does not explicitly state whether the Lord appeared to Mary, but many ancient Christian traditions believe Laches. Although it is not described in detail, if Mary was present among the community of disciples, it is almost certain. From a group of fearful people hiding in a locked room, they gradually became a praying community.
Mary is mentioned as praying with the apostles, not teaching, not going on distant missions, not appearing before crowds.
Mary prayed, but that silent presence had a special power. Think about this. The early church was not born in a palace, in that quiet gathering place with the companions, the women, and the mother who had carried hope through the darkest days.
that means the woman who was present when Jesus Christ entered the world was also present when his church was born.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found the content meaningful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Faith and Glory channel so you won't miss out on more inspiring videos about faith and life values. See you in the next video.